Writing is work. If people tell you otherwise, don't believe them. Sure, writing comes more easily to some than to others, but no one reaches his or her full potential as a writer without working at it. I mean, working at it generally, but also and always working at it with each new piece of writing, no matter how experienced you are. So here, I'll offer tips to help improve your writing, but they alone won't make you a fine writer. Only you can do that through work. I crafted these tips several years ago at the request of an inexperienced reporter in a newsroom where I was editor. She wanted practical writing advice, and these tips distill what I've learned from editors and from my own mistakes over many years. So, in that spirit, here are 11 tips to improve your writing. Number 1, know what you want to communicate, then write it with precision. Writers too often separate thinking from writing, as if writing were merely a technical exercise, the execution of a word code. Writing is thinking, structured thinking. Yes, we must master the word code elements of grammar and punctuation, but writing without thoughtfulness will stumble into meandering incoherence. I can't emphasize enough. Think, think, think. Only then will you as a writer know what you want to communicate. Writing with precision is a separate but related discipline. What to write versus how to write it. Even when we're clear in our own minds about what we want to communicate, we then must frame our thinking with language that cannot be misunderstood. Precision is insurance against misunderstanding. This requires, in part, reviewing our own first drafts from our future readers' mental point of reference. I know what I meant to convey in these words. Did I succeed? Well, those readers who don't live inside my mind, that is all readers except one, comprehend what I intended. We writers must practice brutal honesty with ourselves in this way. Know what you want to communicate, then write it with precision. The remaining tips are all shorter than number 1, I promise. Number 2, get to the point quickly. Must more be said, really? Journalism generally exalts hammering the point early in any piece of news writing, but tip number 2 will help all writing in any context. Failure to get to the point sometimes reflects a writer's lack of clarity about the text's purpose. See tip number 1. Or it betrays a writer engaged in showing off. Neither is good. Respect readers. Get to the point. Number 3, embrace short, because short words and sentences make reading easier. Our goal should not be a repetitive rat-a-tat of machine gun short sentences, although that sometimes works. Variety, especially in sentence length, can yield more readable text. Still, short as a guiding principle will usually improve your writing because it helps readers. Try this with text of your own. Review a passage and seek to replace as many multi-syllable words as possible with words that are equally precise but have fewer syllables. See how many sentences you can string together with words of 1 syllable or of no more than 2 syllables. Embrace short. Number 4, favor active voice sentences. That is subject, verb, object, or the giver of action followed by the verb, followed by the thing being acted upon. As in, dog chewed bone, which is active voice, not bone was chewed by dog in passive voice. Active, the chicken crossed the road. Passive, the road was crossed by the chicken. Ugh. I don't intend this tip as a ban on all passive voice sentences. Use them when appropriate, but make active voice sentences your default choice. Number 5, start strong, end strong. And that applies to sentences, paragraphs, and stories. When meeting your future in-laws, you want to make the best possible first impression. And when you leave, you want them still feeling good about you. It's the same with our writing. This is especially true with entire pieces of writing, great opening, strong closing, but in smaller ways, it helps to also keep this tip in mind for sentences and paragraphs. Start strong, end strong. Number 6, craft crisp topic sentences. That is, tell readers where you're going before going there. This tip advances tip number 1 about writing with precision. Readers will comprehend more and are less likely to quit in frustration if you give them markers along the way about what's coming. Topic sentences are a writer's pledges to readers, pledges that say, here's where we're going in this paragraph or section. Don't leave readers guessing. Craft crisp topic sentences. Number 7, avoid proper names goulash. Proper names are to readers what bowling pins are to jugglers, difficult to handle all at once. We must use proper names in our writing, of course, but reading is easier when writers don't expect readers to pack all the names into their minds all at once. Instead, introduce proper names one at a time. In news writing, I aim for 1 per paragraph and seldom more than 2. Avoid proper names goulash. Number 8, let verbs power sentences. Choose well. If sentences were cars, then verbs would be their engines. Favoring active voice over passive constructions gives oomph to sentences, but so does choosing the stronger, more precise verb over the easy first verb that comes to mind. Consider this scene. A man lost for days in a desert without water finally comes to an oasis, and you're there to witness his arrival. You write this sentence. The man fell to the ground at the well and fill in the blank there with a verb. Does he sip, lap, drink, quaff, guzzle, slurp, tipple, partake of, imbibe, swig, swallow, gulp, knock back? Some other verb? Verbs have power. Let them power your sentences. Number 9, kill cliches. Writing with cliches equals painting by number, meaning not really writing. As in the final analysis, and I hate to burst your bubble, we'll find the solution that fits the bill and doesn't put all of our eggs in one basket so we can stop being down in the dumps. Let's cut to the chase. It's usually better to be late than never. Besides, after the dust settles, and for what it's worth, we'll be full steam ahead, and soon we'll be a force to be reckoned with if we go for broke and practice a little give and take. So let's knock it out of the park. Yeah. That's not writing. It's assembling puzzle pieces. Kill cliches. Number 10, cut the fat. That means we write, then we read and trim words, sentences, whole paragraphs. Then we do it again. This is related to tip number 3, embrace short, but it's important enough to stand alone. Start with adverbs. Often a stronger, more precise verb will make an adverb redundant. Then look at adjectives, linking verbs, prepositional phrases, and dependent clauses. None are banned, but all are possible marks for tighter writing. Just cut the fat. And number 11, write like you talk, only better. Too often when we write, we adopt the voice of God, a distant and bossy authority figure, not a credible friend. Voice is one ingredient of fine writing, as in she writes with voice, meaning her writing is unmistakably hers. You already have a voice, your own, and you use it daily in conversation. Write in that voice while eliminating the ahs and ums and the verbal cul-de-sacs that often mark our spontaneous speaking. Write like you talk, but with polish, and your writing almost certainly will be more fun to read. Write like you talk. And there they are, 11 tips to improve your writing. Tips, not rules, guidelines, not gospel. I'll close with a bonus tip from author Stephen King from his excellent little book on writing. Thanks for listening. Now let's tell stories.